rocking and rolling right here. Hottest show on the streets, bringing you that Bama football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. A little bit of a slight technical issue. We're rolling right now, bringing you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. You know what time it is. Speaking of the channel, you hit that subscribe button right now. Smash subscribe. Get every friend, family member, casual Bama fan, diehard Bama fan, consumer of Alabama football to hit that subscribe button. And not just that, give a like as well. Hit that thumbs up. Run those likes up. Let's get this show right now to 50 likes. Appreciate all of the support from you, the Tide Nation. I'm making this your show, your network, platform, channel, and space to talk Bama. Turn all of those notifications on. Hit that little bell so that way you miss nothing when it comes to your Crimson Tide news. We got you covered also on Facebook and Twitter, streaming to you the show. And we got a good one tonight as the man, the myth, the legend, back in the production studio. Yes, John Ivory, I'm referring to you. We missed you, man. We got John Ivory, the man, back here behind the scenes on the ones and twos doing his thing. And we want to hear from you tonight, the passionate fans of Bama Nation. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you of a daily Super Chat Go, $75 daily Super Chat Go right there. But beginning now, first topic of conversation, John, and this one goes to Nick Saban gave the latest update on one Bryce Young, junior quarterback for Alabama, reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and he did this during the SEC coaches teleconference today. Of course, Saban is actually speaking right now at his press conference at the Mal Moore facility in Tuscaloosa. But Saban keeping the same message. Young doing a bit more in practice today, but still listed as day-to-day. They're not ready to make that decision just yet. But Bryce doing more with his shoulder. He hurt his throwing shoulder against Arkansas. It's a sprained AC joint. So doing more in practice, getting a bit more comfortable, but still listed here as day-to-day. So we will see how Young looks Thursday, how Young looks Friday prior to the matchup on Saturday inside Bryant-Denny, 7 p.m. Central Time night game between Alabama and Texas A&M. So as much as we would like to see Bryce Young be able to go, and the competitor that Bryce Young is, and he wants to go, and Nick Saban talked about that this week, where he mentioned how Bryce is such a competitor. You want to make a play so badly, right? Your mind is predicated on, I have to make a play, even if a play is not there. And that can be very dangerous, because if the play is not there, then you open yourself up to injury, and that's where you take these bad hits, you take these bad shots, you fall awkwardly on some part of your body, you land awkwardly on some part of your body, and then you get up grimacing in pain, in frustration, and in discomfort, which is what we saw against Arkansas, where he was trying to make a play. Drew Sanders was breathing down his neck. Sanders able to get to Young, and Young trying to get rid of the ball, and unfortunately landed awkwardly there on his throwing shoulder. But Coach Saban said it's still listed here as day-to-day. Now, if Bryce cannot go, in the event Bryce cannot go, then you've got Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. Both of these two are ready to go. Jalen Milroe, to me, if Bryce cannot go, would be the starter here against Texas A&M, just due to the way he played against Arkansas. Yes, there's still some areas in the passing game that need to be fine-tuned, but he will have those areas tweaked. I mean, to me, and I feel like this, if Bill O'Brien this week goes to Jalen Milroe and says, okay, son, what are the best 8 to 10 pass options in an RPO scheme that you feel the most comfortable with? And whatever you feel the most comfortable with, we will run with those 8 to 10 RPO schemes. We'll run those 8 to 10 pass options within the RPO scheme. and make it really simple and really easy for you to execute that right there. So, and of course, like I said, we saw against Arkansas, the young man's got wheels. I mean, he can fly. 77-yard run, big play to snatch the momentum back from Arkansas. The drive ended with Jace McClellan scoring a touchdown. Bama getting that 35-23 lead. So, Milroe, U.S. fans have confidence in him, taking your quarterback from Texas. So, if Bryce cannot go, Milroe will be the starter. But then also, ready up Ty Simpson too. True freshman, young man from Martin, Tennessee. We saw he became the Gatorade Player of the Year in Tennessee 2021. Big senior season at Westview High School. Took them to a state championship. I mean, Ty Simpson looked good in spring ball for Alabama. In fall camp, he sharpened his arm strength even more. Can really get that ball, can put the ball wherever he wants to put it on the field. Yes, he's still grasping the playbook. I get that, but he's grasped it here pretty quickly. So I would even ready up Ty Simpson. Both guys can play, but I'll have them both said. Initially, though, if Bryce cannot go, you would have Jalen Milroe right there. But it just seems like Nick Saban is having some gamesmanship here of Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M. I mean, this whole week in practice, Saban has played this extremely smart. No pictures of quarterbacks have been released this week. No video of quarterbacks have been released this week. So Saban is really having Jimbo, you got to prepare for two guys. You got to prepare for multiple guys because you don't know what we're going to hit you with. Now, A&M is in the same situation. I think Haynes King has an injury. Max Johnson, not the most mobile guy. So A&M could probably trot their freshman quarterback out there. If Jimbo Fisher does that, I think you're just baiting Will Anderson and Dallas Turner to come after the young man and take his head off. But kind of is what it is. But, Nick Saban's having some gamesmanship here with Jimbo Fisher and A&M, not showing you what his hand is in terms of the quarterback. But we will see how Bryce continues to progress throughout the week of practice. But Jalen Milroe's ready. And he's earned that trust from U.S. fans based upon how he looked there against Arkansas. But I want to know from you, the fans. I mean, if you were Nick Saban, if you were Coach Saban, what would you do in this situation? Would you roll with Bryce Young? Would you start Jalen Milroe against A&M? Let me know your thoughts here on the other side of the break, and let me know your thoughts in the chat line as well. We're going to go to a quick break here, folks. When we come back, we take your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. On Wednesday, we'll be back after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we done popped back in here to the action from the break on the hottest show in these streets, covering your Alabama football in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Before we take your calls right now, guys, shout out the man Eric Beasley with that $5 donation. The Super Chats, appreciate the love there from Eric Beasley. Dropping that in the bucket. The daily Super Chat go, as I mentioned, $75. Appreciate the love there coming from all of you. But right now we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment Brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Michael from Columbia, South Carolina. How you doing?
Doing great, Michael, and yourself?
I'm good. A couple things I want to talk about, and a question I want to ask as well.
Go ahead.
So about Bryce Young, I feel like this, Steven. We don't want to have Bryce Young have to miss any more games. When you look at the schedule, Steven, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, these are teams that are and that Tennessee game, to me, that Tennessee game haunts me. I'm very, very haunted about the Tennessee game. We want to have Bryce Young at least 100, even if he's not 100% healthy, but he's ready to play against Tennessee. So, to me, I have to say, start Jalen Milroe. Start Jalen Milroe, because so this is how I see it, Steven. The only way Bryce Young's going to play is if they give him the shot. And you know what shot I'm talking about. That's the only way I see Steven playing. I mean, how you feel about that?
Michael, I agree with you. The only way you can see that is if Jeff Allen and the training staff do that procedure there, or doing that shot there with Bryce. I mean, me personally, if I was Saban, I would go Milroe. I know Saban's not going to tip the cap there because he doesn't want anybody knowing what his plan is. It's just Bryce would be extremely valuable for games down the road. Like you mentioned, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, LSU, those matchups. I feel like with how young A&M's defensive line is, I think Milroe would be better suited there.
And then two more questions, then I'm going to let you go. Any updates on Bryce Young, Tyler Harrell, and Demo Kennedy?
Let's see here. Well, we know the one on Young, day to day there on Young at quarterback. Coach Saban mentioned that, a couple of times this week. On Tyler Harrell, this should be the week for Tyler Harrell to be back. I mean, people were talking about last week it would be JoJo Earl and Tyler Harrell back. We saw JoJo, but I guess Harrell, they were kind of not all the way sure just yet. So this week should be that week here for Harrell to make his debut for Alabama. And in terms of Kennedy is out for the season, unfortunately. Sustained a knee injury in the matchup against Arkansas. Got hurt there on the kickoff return. But appreciate my man Michael from South Carolina calling in right there. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey man, Peter from Jay, Florida. Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for lighting it out tonight too, man. It's appreciated. So you mentioned it's been a few weeks since I was able to call, so I'm sorry I'm going back here. But I loved your point after the Texas game. You pointed out the kicking game, Will Reichert and I forget Burnup's first name, but Burnup the punter, and how they executed flawlessly. And I called. It was like a while back, and I stated somebody was complaining about the D-line, and we don't have those dogs up front, which Otis is turning into that. But I pointed out, look, Saban gave a scholarship to Reichert for a reason. He knows the game is changing. He's gotten burned by field goals before, and you can now point to that Texas game. Reichert kicked that field goal, and if you really want to analyze it and think about it, Texas called the timeout to freeze him. And not a lot of people think about that or talk about that. He kicked that field goal even though Texas froze him, and he made it. And then he made it again. With a kicker before Reichert that was not on scholarship, so would not be to his level, he wouldn't have made that twice, maybe not once. So, Steven, I appreciate you bringing that up a few weeks ago. Also, you're spot on with Milroe. I think it's great gamesmanship. I think Saban knows right now he's going Milroe and not Bryce Young, but why not give him two different skill sets to think about? I'll just talk about, the line not looking good early on. If you think about it, man, early on with Saban teams, the line's never good. It's never good early. They round into form, though. That's what Saban does, and it's about now where you see it round into form. This year, you can point to Booker and McLaughlin being inserted. Justin Riley talked about McLaughlin and how high he is, and I think that's spot on. He's figured it out, I think an example I can give is Ole Miss 2016. I remember I was at that game, and Henry couldn't even run 2 yards. That was his Heisman year. That's Derrick Henry. Line couldn't even give him a yard or two. It was early in the season. So I think just take that into account. And Justin, on his podcast, I'm going to quote him. He made a great point. He said, "I hate that Bryce Young went down, but it forced us to do something we've been needing to do for a while, and that's run the darn ball." So I thought that was spot on. This basically forces O'Brien to run it. And the line's going to get more reps because of it, gain confidence. You guys all talked about that. And I think there's a lot of talk about, well, does Miller has to be more accurate and blah, blah, blah. I don't think he does. I think if you look at guys similar to his skill set in the NFL and college, that the fact that they are mobile, he's accurate enough. He will get more accurate, I'm sure, just because he'll get more reps, but he does not have to be deadly accurate. He's going to have guys more open because of his threat to run the ball. You think A&M's DBs aren't watching that tape from Arkansas where he took off and not thinking about that and creeping up a half yard more to leave that receiver a half yard more open? He doesn't have to be as accurate. I think he did look stiff. And I think he was stiff because that's on O'Brien. He had this, you guys talked about it preseason, he had this supposed package for Milroe. We didn't see Milroe one time, including that 4th and inches against Texas, when he should have been in the game instead of a third-string running back out of a pistol. So I think Milroe just being a dual threat, it's going to open up the run game more and everything. And I think, let me say this, last thing. Bryce Young is clearly the best quarterback at Bama. He won the Heisman. Under Kiffin, they'd be winning games 75-0 with him. Sarkisian, same thing. However, since O'Brien, in my opinion, is an incompetent OC, I think the better fit may honestly be Milroe. I think with the multiple options he gives with running the ball, opening the ball up more, passing the ball down the field occasionally, Young is a clear-cut pocket passer, and O'Brien just didn't know how to mix run and pass well effectively with him. I think with Milroe, there's less he can mess up. That's all I got to say. I appreciate you taking my call.
Appreciate Peter calling in from Florida, giving his thoughts on the show. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, buddy. Steven, love your show, man. This is William Newman from Dandridge, Tennessee.
William, how you feeling, brother?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, brother. Hey, listen, man, I really love your show. I watch you every chance I get, man. I really love what y'all do, so keep up the good work. Hey, man, look, I was going to say something, and I agree with a lot of what the guy, what he was saying. But I have an idea. Go ahead, call Saban. I have the best idea ever. Let's go ahead and face facts. Texas A&M is a train wreck. Okay, Jimbo ran his mouth too early. And now he's getting exposed for it, and now he's kissing Saban's hind end, saying how great he was. But just a few months ago, he wasn't saying that because he knows what's about to happen when he comes to Tuscaloosa, baby. So just go ahead and let Milroe do his thing. Let him run over A&M's defense. Let him do what he does, and then save Bryce, save his arm, get it better, and get him ready to go to Rocky Top. Because Tennessee ain't no joke this year. And I'm telling you, that offense scares me. But their defense is terrible. So we're going to have to be in a shootout with them. And right now, being in Knoxville and them having the home field advantage, I'm telling you right now, just let Bryce set this one out. Let Jalen just go out there, get the game experience, a full game experience, because he's going to be the quarterback next year. We all know Bryce is going to the NFL. And just get him ready for Knoxville so that way we can beat Tennessee and move on.
My man William from Tennessee with that call right there. Appreciate him giving his thoughts on the show. 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. Don't let tonight go by without letting your voice be made known. And talking Bama, Texas A&M. We got Super Chat, John Ivory, Mark Bars. Mark Bars with that $20 donation. Dropping the love in there. Appreciate Mark for that. That daily Super Chat Gold, folks, $75. Appreciate your support and also you liking the show. Hit that like button. Get that like button up. For you hitting subscribe as well. Making this your show, your network platform, channel space, entertainment to get into your Bama football. But the call topic here is on a reserve linebacker for the Crimson Tide, Demoy Kennedy. Really good glue guy, good special teams guy, just all-around good dude. Suffered a knee injury against Arkansas last week on the kickoff team, and Saban mentioned today during the SEC coaches teleconference that he is out for the season. So that stings because once again with Kennedy out, that hits your depth a little bit at the inside linebacker position. That also hits your depth in terms of core special teams guys on punt coverage and punt return and kickoff coverage and kickoff return also. So hopefully Demoy is able to get himself healthy and better and through the surgery and get back on the field at some point for his career, because the guy can play. The guy can flat out play. He was one of the emergency running backs just last season with Christian Leary. So wishing the best there for Demoy Kennedy in his recovery. But if you're still on the call line, callers, hold the next 10 minutes, or you can call back in the next 10 minutes. But upon our return from the break, we will dive into, should Alabama start looking at more of the young guys at receiver? Should start looking at more of the young names, the young faces at wide receiver as go-to guys? We'll touch on it after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, people, we're back into the action, folks. From the break, hottest show on the streets here, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. And right now, topic 2 of the conversation, John, goes to Alabama's wide receivers. This is a position group where U.S. fans have a little bit of a concern about, I myself included. And the question is, who becomes that number one guy? Who becomes that go-to reliable guy? Who becomes that guy that this team can go to the well time and time and time again and know that that guy is going to make a play? And right now, we're looking at, is it time for maybe the Crimson Tide to look at one of these young guys to be that guy? One of these freshmen, one of these fresh faces to be that guy? I mean, because guys like Kobe Prentice and Isaiah Bond, they're stepping up. Kobe Prentice against Arkansas last week, leading receiver. 3 catches, 92 yards, 46-yard touchdown. Isaiah Bond keeps getting into the game faster and faster. Reason why the coaching staff really love his speed. Can take the top off a defensive secondary. Got behind the Arkansas safety, caught a 53-yard bomb, had 2 catches for 76 yards. So you're seeing the freshmen say, hey, you can depend on me. So-and-so might drop a pass, but you can depend on me. Kobe Prentice is showing Bryce Young, hey, bruh, you can depend on me. I may be young, but I'm ready. You can depend on me. I mean, Isaiah Bond, hey, you can depend on me. Throw me the ball. If it's anywhere near me, I'm going to go make a play. So is it time for Alabama to look at some of these young guys as the primary options? The reason for the question is the veteran guys been dropping passes lately. Last week, Trayshawn Holden had some drops. Ja'Cory Brooks, after the massive game he had against Vanderbilt, had a couple drops. Balls hit him dead in the hand against Arkansas. Couldn't hold him in. Jermaine Burton had a drop or two. And, there was a moment Bryce Young kind of looked visibly frustrated. I mean, I know he had the shoulder injury, but there was a moment where Bryce is like, God, come on, help me out here. Catch the ball. There was some moments where Bryce was kind of looking antsy out there because he's putting the ball right on the hands of these receivers, and they're dropping them. And right now, even though it's good for a defense not to know how to scheme Alabama's receivers because you don't know which one is going to pop off at any given moment, it's a negative for Alabama because it's, well, who's our go-to guy? Who's our guy when we need a third down conversion? I got to go to him. Who's our guy? We need a big play. I got to go to him. Who's our guy? We need to take the top off of defense and create some instant offense here. Who's that guy? And in the past, Alabama's always had that guy. You can go down the list. This program has been spoiled with big play, elite, just get me the ball, make the beats, and get out the way type of wide receivers. And in this group, one has not fully emerged yet. You got talent all over the roster. You got guys in this room, but one just has not emerged yet. JoJo Earl came back last week for his debut for this season, coming off of a foot fracture. Caught a touchdown pass off a screen play from Jalen Milroe. And that was good for Earl's confidence because as he gets more and more acclimated, he'll be better. Absolutely. U.S. fans wondering, okay, when do we see the return of, when do we see the debut of Tyler Harrell? I think this week is the week right here that it should happen. I think this is the week right here for him. But is it time to look at young names? The time to look at, fresh receivers because, Kobe Prentice back in fall camp was popping off. The last two scrimmages, he had 8 catches, including, 3 for touchdowns, 1 or 2 or 3 for touchdowns. Kobe Prentice was popping off in fall camp. And now you've got Isaiah Bond entering these games more and more with his track speed. Is it just time to look at some of these young guys as go-to weapons, get the best on the field, and if the best is a young guy, so be it? Or do you look at this week against A&M and say, let's get Burton another opportunity, Holder another opportunity, Brooks another opportunity. One of these veterans, it's bound for one of these three to step up and take that role. So, fans, how do you feel about that? Young guy getting this number one spot at wide receiver, or does Alabama continue to try to see which one of these veterans is going to finally say enough is enough, this is my team, this is my receiver room, when we just take over? But we're going to go to a break right here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to your phone calls. We get your thoughts, your conversations, a dialogue with you on a Wednesday. It's coming after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break on the hottest show on the streets, giving you that Crimson Tide flavor in your ear. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Folks, we're at 220 people in the chat. We got 71 likes. Let's get this thing to 100 likes. Hit the thumbs up, smash the like button, smash the thumbs up. Make this your show, your network, your channel, your place. Talk Crimson Tide football right here. Gotta shout out the man Jimmy Cash Money Clay with that 50, I say it, $50 donation to Super Chats, helping us meet that daily Super Chat goal of $75. Appreciate that love. They're coming from the man, the legend himself, Jimmy Clay. We go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. It's happening. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
My name is Dwayne. I'm from Gaston, Alabama.
Dwayne, what's happening, brother?
Good. How about you, man?
But I can't complain, man. You got Bama, you got Texas A&M, you got Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher. You can't say more than that.
Oh, yes, sir. Man, I just got a little, like you were just speaking on, man, these receivers, man. I feel like, we done overhyped Jermaine Burton because we used to think, he was going to be our go-to receiver, him and Brooks. They was going to be our go-to receivers. Everybody felt like he was going to be our next, Jameson and Mechie. And they both, like, Brooks, he done improved. He done, did pretty good this season. But how you feel about Burton? Because I feel like he just ain't approved what he should be doing right now, or how everybody expects him to look.
I mean, it's been a concern, Dwayne, because you think about it. Burton comes in from Georgia, 24 games of experience. 53 catches, over 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. He wasn't getting the targets from Stetson Bennett, so we all thought that, okay, you're coming to play with the Heisman Trophy winner in Bryce Young. The both of y'all played ball together in California, so a relationship is there. So, of course, obviously, we were all thinking more from Burton, but, I mean, there are moments where either he drops a pass or Alabama's not looking in his direction, or even when you watch him run the routes, it's like, is he going full speed? Is he jogging on the route? And looking back at Bryce Young, like, bro, throw me the ball, but you jogging on the route.
That's exactly right. Yeah. You're exactly right. Because I don't know. I think it was just the overhype with him, and he just got, I don't know if he got to his head or not, but how it's looking right now, it look like, the young cats like Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bond, all them two guys, they emerged this week at Arkansas. They showed they can be, our next receivers, and they are just freshmen, so they just freshmen showing that, hey, I can step in, Bryce. I got your back, and that now another thing, Melrose, his passing is not like Bryce. Everybody knows that. We're not expecting him to be Bryce or whatever, we know, but he can get out of the pocket faster. He can move faster, than Bryce, which is okay. We're not saying that's a bad thing, but that play when he threw it to Burton, I feel like he can, work on his passing a little more, get a little better at that, because that's another thing we need to, work on with him. But other than that, I feel like this team that came strong. The offensive line that got way better than it was last year. Like, everybody knows how it was last year. The cornerbacks, they don't play phenomenal. We ain't really let them. A lot of teams have touchdowns. Our defensive line, Will, Dallas, the freshman Otis, he done been phenomenal. I feel like this team gonna go far. I just feel like the receivers, they're gonna have to step up a little more, because, we got Bryce Young at our quarterback, so we need to get him another Heisman and a championship. That's all he wants.
Absolutely. Appreciate my man Dwayne there from Gadsden for that call right there. We take this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, Steven? Your buddy, my name's Noah, man. How you?
I'm doing great knowing yourself.
I'm back. I went mowing today, bub. I got back.
Okay.
And hey, Steven, I predicted we beat Texas A&M 45-0.
So Noah's got 45-0 Bama over A&M. Okay, Noah.
Steven, I got one more question.
Go ahead.
I hope I get down there. I want to draft the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Hey, Steven, I got a 7M. I got me a 7M at my house. Let me tell you what M is it?
Hey, if I can get there, man, I can try to get there. But we appreciate Noah from Virginia, man, for that call right there. He's got 45-0 Bama over A&M. Alabama beat Texas A&M 59-0, John. That was the 2014 season with Blake Sims and T.J. Yeldon and Amari Cooper. So can we get a 45-0? Can we see that? Possibly. But we shall definitely see. But just getting back to Dwayne's point about Jalen Milroe, he doesn't have to be deadly accurate. Be good enough distributing the ball to make people respect it, to make defenses and defensive coordinators account for that, right? Because if he can be good enough throwing the ball, passing the ball, to make people respect it, then that's going to enhance his running ability and Alabama's running ability as a whole, even more. And then just going back to the receivers, we've seen freshmen throughout Saban's tenure do big things. Julio Jones started it. Amari Cooper came in. Calvin Ridley came in. Jerry Jeudy came in. Henry Ruggs came in. Devontae Smith came in. Jalen Waddle came in. We've seen freshmen. We've seen it. If the upperclassmen aren't ready to take it, a freshman gets the throne. We've seen it so many times. So I would be okay with a Kobe Prentice. I would be okay with an Isaiah Bond taking the throne, especially if they're showing that they're ready to do so. But we got a quick little call topic here, and this one goes to Alabama's defensive line. Jamil Burroughs and Jamarian Latham both have huge opportunities right now. More so Burroughs than Latham, but both have a huge opportunity right now because Justin Aboigbe, senior defensive end, Coach Saban mentioned it this week, has a neck injury that Alabama's getting specialists to look at right now. Hopefully, Aboigbe can make that recovery because he's got a pro future looking at him. But neck injury for Aboigbe. Didn't play against Arkansas. So this means Jamil Burroughs is going to get that chance to be that effective pass rusher that he wants to be. Against the Razorbacks, he had, 8 snaps? In those 8 snaps, he had 3 quarterback pressures, 1 quarterback hit. He can affect the pocket. He can affect the passing game. Going back to spring ball, Coach Saban called Burroughs the most improved lineman on the field. Then when you look at Jamarian Latham, he's got pass rush ability, and I think he's the bit better run stuffer. So they're both going to see increased action, but definitely keep your eyes on Burroughs. I think now it's his time to affect the quarterback, stuff the run, all of those things. Guys, shout out my man Bill! Bill from New York with that $5 donation, dropping the love. in the bucket right there. Appreciate Bill. And my man William Bryan from Iowa, that 45-piece, that $45 donation, helping us out right there, showing love to the channel. We take our final break here on the show. We're not our final break here. Hold on, we got another call coming in. Thank you, John, for letting me know that. We take this call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Jacob from Mobile, first-time caller. Love listening to your show.
Appreciate it, man. How you doing?
Doing good. I just want to hit on the topic of Jalen Milroe. And first off, the guy did a phenomenal job coming in a bad environment like Arkansas, especially when you're not expecting to be playing. Just some words of encouragement to everybody flipping out about it. Back in 19 when we had Tua go down, Mac Jones came in, didn't look so great, and then next week he was on fire. In fact, I was at that game. It was kind of nice watching. I missed 2020, but got to catch him live in T-Town against Arkansas, and that's really about it. I think Milroe's got a high ceiling. We just haven't seen him get the reps yet with the first string, and once he gets it, he should be doing well. And hopefully, Bryce is ready. But if he don't need to play this weekend, then by all means, get healthy.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. So when I look at this, Jacob, I look at it as this right here. If Bryce can go, and Bryce knows if he can go, and the medical staff knows if he can go, if Bryce can go, that's fine. But if you have any hint of doubt, you go with Milroe, just due to what he showed last week. I know people say the passing has to get better, the accuracy has to get better. True, but he made some plays that only he could make. And he stayed with the team, he stayed with the ship, he took momentum away from the Razorbacks on the 77-yard run. So despite the nitpicking of the passing game, there were a lot of positive things that he did. And the only way Milroe's going to grow and get better is with starting reps in a marquee matchup like this. So if you have just the inkling of doubt when it comes to Bryce Young, you rest him and you go with Milroe. But appreciate my man Jacob there for that call there. Disregarding that, well, appreciate Jacob for that call there. But going back to Burrows and Jamarian Latham, folks, I mean, with Justin Boyd be out, keep your eyes there on Burrow. It's going to be big there in terms of the pass rushing ability. But now we take our final break here on the show and touch that down, because upon our return, before we go to a break here, got to disregard the last super chat shout out right there. My man John Ivory unfortunately was tripping there John, why were you tripping, man? My man John Ivory was tripping there in the booth. So disregarding the last shout out, but still appreciate all of your donations, phone calls, conversations. You guys have been phenomenal. But when we get back from the break, we'll get into this Alabama offensive line and how this week they can really feast, coming off their best performance of the season against Arkansas. We'll talk the O-line after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back ahead of the action from the break. Hottest show in these streets, talking Bama football in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Gotta shout out the man, Jimmy Clay, again with that $25 donation. The Super Chats, appreciate the love there from Jimmy Clay. People, we got 250 people in the chat. We got 99 likes. 1 like from 100. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. Better yet, let's get to 150. Let's try for 150 likes right now. Thank you for your support of the show, the network here, and the channel. Hitting that thumbs up button. Also, gotta remind you of TDAwear.com. It's TDAwear.com for all of your swag, assault, strip, clothing, cultural, fashion needs. We got you right here, TDAwear.com. Get you that gear today. Support your team, support the Tide, cheer on your brand. It doesn't get any better than that. You can get you that gear right now. The link is in the description. TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. Keep supporting Coach Saban, University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama magazine. But we look at how the offensive line for your Crimson Tide, and a group that it grew up last week. I mean, it had been making progress with each game, John, but last week was Bama's best game on the offensive line. And can we just say this? Seth McLaughlin needs to be the starting center from here on out, period. He needs to be the starting center from here on out. I understand down court, a little bit bigger than Seth, weight-wise. Forget the weight. Bump the weight. Give me the scrapper, the tough guy, the mean guy, the pancake guy. Put him on his butt guy. And that's Seth McLaughlin. And we saw this late last season where the center position did not get right into the second half of the Iron Bowl. You put McLaughlin in there. You saw what he did. You saw what he did in the SEC championship game against Georgia. He handled Jordan Davis and company. Saw that. We saw him in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl against Cincinnati. Handled that defense, allowing B-Rob to have 206 yards rushing. I mean, McLaughlin's a proven guy in the big lights. And against Arkansas, I mean, all he did was open up the running lanes for, 371 rushing yards and 5 scores? I mean, he had Jahmyr Gibbs have a banner day. 18 carries, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. Averaged 11.4 yards per carry. Made Doak Walker running back of the week. I mean, on both of Gibbs' long runs, McLaughlin got the key block. I mean, just took bumper pool completely out of the way. Both times. He's got to be the starting center moving forward. When 56 is anchoring this line, it's a completely different line. Completely different line. And when you look at Coach Wolford and this line as a whole, they got a chance to, flex some muscle this week. When you look at Tyler Steen, J.C. Latham, Wolford, they got a chance to flex some muscle this week. Because A&M's defensive front, they're a young front. They're a young group, right? And when you look at the running backs that Alabama has, the potential that Jalen Milroe could start this game, I mean, Nick Saban's looking at this offensive line and probably thinking, hey, flex muscle. Hey, lean on these guys. Let's ground and pound. Let's beat up A&M's defensive front. Let's do what we do out here and be physical. Let's do what we do out here and be physical. Because after seeing what this group did against the Hogs, not only opening up the run game, but only giving up 1 sack to one of the best pass rushing defenses in the country. Drew Sanders came in that game with 5.5 sacks. The team as a whole, in terms of Arkansas, I believe had 20. And they only had 1 sack against Alabama. This offensive line is growing up. Now, I don't know if they've solidified the 5 that they want. I mean, if they want to just keep rotating guys in and just do that, I mean, if it's going to do like it did against Arkansas, I guess that's fine. But, I mean, whatever your rotation is, Seth McLaughlin just needs to be the starting center. That's all I got to say about that. Whatever your rotation, you can have Timbuktu out there starting, all right? Seth McLaughlin just needs to be the starting center. The other 4, you can do whatever you want to do with them. But that man in the middle, it'd be 56. That's all I'm saying right there. But I just look at this game, and Alabama has a shot to really flex some muscle here. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs and Jace McClellan should both have banner days in this matchup. I think Gibbs should have another 100-yard day. I think McClellan should at least go over 100 yards or get close. 75, 85, somewhere in there, if not over 100. I think both of these two guys should be able to have a lot of success running the football. The game is won here in the trenches, and after all of the conversation that was made after last season where A&M and Jimbo Fisher are concerned, this is a game where if Alabama wanted to put the hammer down, they put the hammer down in this game. So my eyes will be locked on to the offensive line. But before we close up shop here, we got some super chats rolling in here late. We got my man Tobias from Fresno, West Coast, with that $20 donation. Appreciate him. We got Aaron McGuire in the building with that $2 donation. Appreciate Aaron McGuire. And then, oh, faithful Jimmy Cashman Clay. Gotta do it one more time. How much does Jimmy got here, Jed? I can't quite see it here. 20 from Jimmy Clay. 20 from the Cashman Clay. Appreciate all of you making this your show, your network platform channel, and space to talk Crimson Tide football. Folks, as always, you want the best of news, notes, and coverage here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. Now, you download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. Got you covered right there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll try to be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can do this. You can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine, have those sent directly to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get you the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. If you're trying to get the four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com, that link in the description as well. Guys, shout out you guys, the incredible fans of Bama football, for all the love, all the donations, all the calls, the chats, the dialogue. All of you making this your show, your network platform and channel, Talk Bama. Guys, shout out my man John Ivory, the maestro, the shawty red to my young G's. You know what I mean, John. I appreciate you, man. But buying the ones and twos there, John Ivory doing his thing there. Till next time, folks. Husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored. Be sure to get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.